Thank you for joining. And if you are joining for the first time, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video. Thank you so much. So today I want to talk to you, or we have to, I'm really excited. First of all, I want to say thank you so much. And I want to say that today is not just a usual keto show, but it's a different dimension today. And what is the dimension for today? The dimension for today is that we got a solution for the worst pandemic. And for you out there might be thinking, oh, it's COVID-19. No, there's a pandemic that is worse than COVID-19. And that is what we are here to, talk to you and give you the good news for the solution to the huge problem that have taken lives. And I know you might be thinking, oh, what's my own? I've not lost anyone due to this pandemic that you're talking about. But I must say that we must be our brother's keeper. So if you are not involved directly, but as humans, we must be able to be our brother's keeper and sympathize with people and also feel their pain. And that's what led to me calling on a webinar during the lockdown when George Floyd passed away this year in March, and decided to contact some of my business colleagues who really attended this webinar, and I felt their discussion on that webinar, with what I put, on the table, actually is a solution to this pandemic. And that is what led to this, so that's what led to this, because I felt that it's good to talk about it, but we took it a one step, just a step further, to putting it down in writing. All right, and not just writing and talking about it like other books, but to put an end to it. That's why today's topic is RIP to the worst pandemic that is worse than COVID-19. All right, so join me. So before we go ahead, you might be wondering, what is this pandemic that is worse than COVID-19? Is it Ebola? Is it HIV? Or what do you think is this pandemic? I know HIV is not pandemic, but what I'm just saying that you might be thinking, what disease is that? Yeah. So the pandemic and the disease we are discussing about today is called racism. And before we start, let me just read out to you what racism is. Racism, as we all know, is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism against a person or group of people on the basis of their membership or particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. All right, so for someone who is being treated differently because of your skin color or where you're from, the way you look, is discrimination, and we must not accept it. Because for some people, I remember speaking to someone, for some people they think, oh, it's okay because we are coming from a background where there's so much discrimination as well. I must say this, when we're fighting racism, if we cannot fight tribal discrimination, which we also go through back home in Nigeria, if I don't mention that, then I will not be fair. Okay, so we have racism, which is a big issue, which is worse than the pandemic that we've ever had on this planet. But I must say also that we as people of color, we should also be aware of how we discriminate among, against one another. Maybe somebody from Africa, from Nigeria, how do they treat people from Ghana, for instance? Because I remember there was a huge fight on social media the other day about killing Nigerians in Ghana. So also in America, we all know that there's so much racial discrimination against the Black Americans there as well, which went the other way when the police officer actually pressed his leg on George Floyd's neck and he passed away. I watched that video, I cried. When I watched that incident, I wept, I screamed. I'm like, gosh, I screamed for justice. I wept, even though I was not related to them. So if I could feel that way, then I can imagine how the direct family will be feeling. You can see where I'm coming from. So in as much as you're not connected to anyone biologically or in any way, doesn't mean that their concern, their problem is none of your business. Because for someone who is watching this video today and you know that, oh, you are a problem solver, you are the type that like to seek for solution, then you can resonate with me. But for some people, if that incident or that challenge is not something that really affect them directly, It doesn't affect their biological children, their husband, their parents, or their siblings. They will feel to hell. It can happen to anyone. That is the way they take it. But for somebody like me, I'm not that type of person. So I wept, it really touched me. And also, I felt that if there is a problem, then there must be a solution. All we need to do is to seek for it. Who are those people who are, kind enough, who can feel the pain and really tell themselves, listen, this cannot happen anymore? Because when I watched that, I said to myself, I saw that incident with George Floyd, I said, enough is enough. It's enough, of celebrating our people when they are 6 feet down. No, enough of that. Enough of it. We just have to put a full stop, no comma. It's been a lot of comma. Now is a full stop, and it's a capital letter stop. So we are not going to tolerate racism anymore. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're watching me from today, whether you're watching from Africa, you're watching from the European, you're watching from the United Kingdom, you're watching from Asia, you're watching from the United States. What I'm telling you today is that enough is enough. Enough for you seeing someone who is someone of different color differently from who you are, or treating them in a way that you wouldn't treat someone like yourself. So that is what I'm telling you today. And for you to be aware that the action, the thing that is going through your mind that leads to racial discrimination, we also have solution for you today. We have way to help you out of that, because it's a big problem. You who is a racist, you have so much problem, and the problem, there's solution in it in this awesome book as well. You might be asking, what is the title of this book? Yes, I'm going to share with you. Just continue watching, right? I'll be sharing the title of this book with you soon. So why am I saying there's help for you? Because if we don't help you, who is a racist, how is racism going to stop? You see what I mean? So if we can't help you with what you're going through, or what is in your mind, the lies that you've told yourself that you believe, that you applying, that is getting to hatred, to you killing somebody or treating somebody unfairly. We have different type of racism. We have the institutional racism everywhere. I've lived in the UK and I've lived in Ireland. I must tell you, someone of color, we go through a lot. I know that there are people who are not from Africa as well, who might not be black, that might still be racially discriminated. But it might be very, it might be very minor. We don't really hear that. We don't really see that often. The most of the racial discrimination we hear and we see is against us. We are the victims. So it makes you feel as if there's a problem with you to have a black skin color. But I must announce to you today that I'm so happy and I love the way I look. And if I'm going to come to this planet Earth one more time or 10 times, I still want to be black skin. We have issues back home in Africa. There are things I would like to change, but not my skin color. So for someone who is watching me today and say, oh, what's she talking about? Oh, we have a choice to like who we like. No. The reason you are doing that is because you have a problem. And those problems, we can address it in this book. So if you are not patient to watch this video, but make sure you come back to look at the description underneath this video to grab your copy now, because there's no excuse anymore. In the workplace, in any organization, any community, anywhere group of people are, there's no excuse that I'm sorry because I've been racist. No, it's not acceptable. You cannot be sorry anymore, because now it's time for you to take responsibility. What did I say? It's time for every one of us to take responsibility. It's not time to point fingers anymore, but to take absolute responsibility. Take responsibility of your actions. So if you go against what is in this system that we've brought up for you to solve this problem, then you are just stabbing yourself. You are just sabotaging your own self, and you are just lying to yourself. And by the way, I'm Katie Regbo. I'm the author of the best-selling book Triumph in the Midst of Adversity. I'm a life coach and I'm a strategic consultant, and I'm also a leadership and management expert. So we train people, managers, leaders on leadership and management, because I just felt that there's no point apportioning blame to your employees, whereby I know very well how to prepare you as a leader and as a manager, all right, to get your employees to do those things that you're expecting them to do, that you're complaining about. You see what I mean? Stop apportioning blame. Let's solve the problem from the root cause. That's what I believe. I don't like solving symptoms. That's why I took it upon myself to to study that as well. And I'm also a publisher. So for those of you who want to write a book and you're looking for a publisher, get in touch. It's info@triumphinthemidstofadversity.com. Okay, that's my email address, and my website is www.triumphinthemidstofadversity.com. So as I promised you, I'm going to tell you the title of this awesome book, right? And by the way, before I tell you the title, I want to also tell you that I have co-authors. This book is written by myself and two co-authors. So myself, Kate Rebu, and Dr. Donna Gani from the United States, and also Nick Ronald from the United Kingdom. So three of us, we had more people attending the webinar, but it's three of us that finally write this book to solve this problem, this pandemic that is worse than COVID-19, that have come to destroy so many people, so many families, make people lose their confidence, low self-esteem, have low self-esteem and not able to thrive in certain environments to their optimum. So, great. So, for those of you watching, please share this. Don't say, oh, my place of work, they don't really treat me badly. I actually have a privilege to be someone of different color. Well done to you, congratulations to you. But what I'm saying today is not just about you, okay? It's not just about you, it's not just about your children, it's not about just your friend, but it's about everyone out there. It's about the family of those people who have died, due to one racial discrimination or the other. Those are the people we're here for today. For example, before I leave, I'm going to share with you also some families who they've lost their child, people who have died, apart from George Floyd. I mentioned there are other people who have died through racial discrimination and what their family, are going through and why this is a must. Okay? This is a must. So as I said to you, even Oprah Winfrey went through her own discrimination, tender age when she was 6 years old. Imagine, going to meet her mom, moving from her grandmom's place in Mississippi to the mother in a rural environment, and now the mother, was not able to allow Oprah to sleep where she's sleeping, where she was working. Can you imagine? She was asked to sleep in the couch in front of the house. That was how the little child of 6 years old was treated because of her skin color. You see what I mean? Okay, but thank God Oprah is alive to share her story. But there are these people who died, they can't share their story because they couldn't make it. Somebody else, their family, bystanders share their stories, and now we have to put a full stop. When you're watching this video, please don't watch it without putting full stop to racism underneath the video, except you are racist. If you are not a racist, if you watch this video, you must please put full stop to racism underneath this video. Please, I'm begging you. Because if you understand what racism have done to people, you will not be saying, oh, okay, it is okay, we take time. No, it has stayed for too long. And now that is why I say enough. What is enough? Enough is enough. Seriously, enough is enough. So I want to talk to you about, apart from George Floyd, there's this lady, beautiful lady, Breonna Taylor, who also, died in the United States when 3 police officers came to the house. They bumped into the house and they said, oh, they've made themselves out, they've informed them by the door before they bashed into the house. But these people in there, the boyfriend of this girl who passed away, through the shooting, during the shooting in that incident, said no, they didn't do anything. They came inside, barged into the place. So the guy was protecting himself and the girlfriend. In America, guns are legalized. So he was trying to protect because they thought was a burglar coming into their house. And the police shot about how many bullets? 30-something bullets as well. And about 6 of them, got to this girl, and she passed away. And that at 26 years old, for that matter. She was living in Louisville in Kentucky, apartment, and she died on the 13th of March, 2021. You can imagine this. This is somebody's child. You've taken care of your child, and you're hoping that someday they're going to take care of you. And the next thing you hear is a phone call telling you, oh, what's happened to. That is how our story went as well. And also, I will not talk about racism. I will not finish talking about racism without mentioning about this lovely kid who moved from Nigeria in 2000, and shortly after the move, when I say shortly, just few months after, the worst happened to him. And where did this happen? It was at Peckham. We went to the library, finished from the library about past 4 p.m. It's not even that it was late or anything, and he was coming, going home, and guess what? A 13 and a 12-year-old kid that were siblings, two siblings, 12 and 13 years old, stabbed this boy to death. Listen, racism is something we can learn, and we can also unlearn it. What does a 12 years old and 13 years old know about color? If the parents and the people that they live with have not put, imbibe that into them, what will make a child of 12 years old and 13 years old feel so bitter to hate someone because they're of different color and you stab them to death? That is why I say to you today that it's not time to point fingers. Everyone that must watch this video must look inwards. You might say, oh, I'm not racist, but are you tribally discriminating? Are you someone, because I must say this, we can't talk about racism without talking about, tribal discrimination. Discrimination through disabilities or, different, type of race of discrimination is out there that we suffer daily. So we must look into ourselves. This is a time for re-examination. Okay? So, and that was how that boy passed away. According to the dad, they say if his son was still in Nigeria, he would still be alive. That's why I say to people, it's easy for us to say Africa is not safe. But where is really safe? Was George Floyd in Africa? Or was Damilola Taylor, which is this little boy I was talking about? His name was Damilola Taylor, who originally from Nigeria, and they moved to the UK shortly just because the sister was suffering from epilepsy, and the mom relocated to the UK to see how that child could get help. And a few months later, in fact, I think they moved in August. Just in December, he died. Just a few months, about 4 months. If I'm right, about 4 months. He moved into the UK and he died. And you tell me that this country is safe or any country in the world is safe? No. There is nowhere that is safe with racism. It doesn't matter the security. It doesn't matter what we, the things, the system that have been put in place, the free healthcare. There was free healthcare, but he still died. That is why racism must be abolished. It is abolished with this book. After this book is being published, which has been, is pre-ordered now, from the day this book is live, that's why I say buy your own copy now, because anyone working in any organization, if you're being discriminated against, you must shout out. And you must make sure in any organization, every organization have a copy of this book, the printed copy, because you have a role to play in this book. You don't understand this. This is not time to say, oh, it's a book, one of those books, I read it about racial discrimination and I've learned what to do. No, it doesn't end there. There is a system in place for you to follow in order to abolish racism. That is why I said it's RIP Racism Agreement. You're going to sign it. You must sign it. It's RIP Racism Agreement. You must sign it. It's in this book. So, that's why you must grab your copy now. And this other boy against Stephen Lawrence on the 22nd of April in 1993. This was another terrific, racism in the United Kingdom. Handsome, cute boy like this. He passed away because he was living in Eltham. And according to the report, at that time, Eltham was a neighborhood or a community, highly populated by white people. And now this family was living there, and I think they were the only black people there. And this boy was attacked by two men running after him, one night across the road, and say, what, nigger, what? And that was it. So what am I saying? For you who is of somebody of different color, maybe you're white, and you don't like the way I look, I'm telling you there's a solution for you in this book. And for some of you out there who are black and you don't like somebody who is who is white skin, somebody from the white race, there's a solution for you, because you have a problem. You have a problem, but the good news is that the solution to your problem is right here in this book. And what is the title of this book? How you can stop racism. Did you hear me? It's not time to push, blame to anyone. What am I saying? How you can stop racism. I mean you. Yes, sorry, I'm not pointing. Sorry, I'm not pointing fingers at you, but I'm just telling you that is what this book is. It's not how they can stop racism. No. It's you. How you can stop racism, because whether you are white, you are black, you are of any color, there is a role for you to play in this book. The solution has come. Now it's not for you to play your part. But if you are saying, oh, I don't care, it's not, I've never been racially discriminated, then you are the problem. Then it means that you are the problem. Because for any problem to be resolved, there must be a step to take, and the steps have been taken. Somebody have taken time, people have come together, they've taken time to create a system to abolish this thing that your forefathers suffered, your great-grandparents suffered from, and your parents suffered from, and you are suffering from it again, and your children are suffering from the same pandemic, which is called racism, and now there's a solution. And if you tell me you cannot go on Amazon now to go and get your pre-order your copy, the ebook is, you can pre-order your ebook now. It's only £2.99 for pre-order. After the book is out, we'll go back to the full price. I don't know what the full price will be now, but now it's £2.99. If you cannot put £2.99 to stop the pandemic that have taken lives, maybe you don't know. After this boy, Damilola Taylor, died, it took 6 good years for justice to prevail. And that 6 years, do you think the mother was joking? It was more traumatic, because after, the boys were convicted in 2016, guess what? The mom died shortly after. He collapsed. He had a heart attack. How would you not have a heart attack? You left Nigeria, you said, oh, you're coming to England because you have a child that have a problem, and you lose one of them. Not just losing one of them, some other kids killed your child because of color. She'll be asking herself, why did I come? And they've actually told her that the situation that the daughter have, which is epilepsy, is an incurable disease. But I must say, that child, if you're here watching me, know that there is no disease that God cannot cure. All right? There's nothing that's incurable. People medically have cured epilepsy, and God have healed epilepsy. All right? So there is cure. There is hope for you. Okay? Don't give up. So, and now Stephen Lawrence Day is, but that's what I'm saying. There's not Stephen Lawrence Day, which is 22nd of April, where maybe the day was, he died. But what am I saying? Where's the day passed on? Because he died in 1993. So why am I telling you this? We are not going to be celebrating any of our people or anyone died of racial discrimination anymore, because no one is going to die again, because it has stopped. You see, the full stop has come now. So now is the time for you to push it. Every organization that you're working, ensure that they get, printed copies of this book. How it's going to work is this. You're going to order copies for your organization, depending on the size of your company. Each department, if you have many people in your department, you can have a number of copies that will allow the book to go around. Because every employee, everyone working in an organization, from the top to the to the bottom, from the highest position to the lowest position, must read this book and complete the agreement, which is called RIP, Racism Agreement. You must complete it. If you want to stop racism, if you are someone who is not a racist yourself, and if you're not tired of racism, then this is the time for you to say, listen, kids, please, you're right. We should not treat people differently. So topic, and in the next week's show, I'm going to be talking to you about the system that has been created to stop racism. And I'm going to take you through some of the systems so you can understand what we are talking about. Because we are not joking. Do you understand? We are not joking. This is not a time for you to feel sorry for the dead or to feel sorry for the family. We have taken upon ourselves to say, listen, enough is enough. Enough is enough. They stop. Look at my neighbor the other day from Bulgaria. They brought me, they were celebrating Easter. I didn't even know that's how they celebrated Easter. They brought me some food. They brought me colored eggs. And it's lovely to know how other people live. You see what I mean? Learn about how other people, because next week I think this video is going to take another 2 weeks, if no more. Next week, I'm going to also tell you how you can live, how you can tolerate other people, how you'll be able to live and, work with people of color or people of different race without being, discriminating or hating them. I'm going to help you out because you have a problem here. I'm going to help you out step by step what you can do. And I'm going to introduce to you about the system, what the system is called next week as well. All right? So I want to say thank you for watching. And I hope you love this video. And please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. And please share this video. Because if you are someone that wants change, this is where you should be. If you want to be inspired, you have to be at Kato Show. If you are someone who want to be motivated, who don't want to give excuses, who don't want to give up, this is where you should be. You cannot be on my channel and you say you're depressed. You cannot be on this channel and say you're giving up. Because on this channel, I share with you tips on how you can erase giving up from your list. That's what I'm saying. On this channel, I've given you tips on how to, give up on yourself, because there's a process that you can actually erase giving up from your options. Because if something is not in your option on your option list, how will you choose it? You can't choose something you don't have, because that's what I did for myself. I erased giving up from my list of options. That is why I've become unstoppable. I never give up. Giving up is not an option, guys. So stay tuned and be with me next week. It's usually 5 p.m. but now school have closed. School are down now. Oh my God.